Hello again, everybody. I am Dr. Kendo, and it is my pleasure to introduce you to what we essentially can call the February Cup, the Open Qualifier for Worlds. Yes, that would be the Pokemon Worlds Championship. This is sort of our first event for at least the North American teams. Here is what we're looking at. We have the revival of the team called Tyre. So Tyre has actually been through a few changes over the, well, let's just call it months. A lot of people from the first Tyre maybe went over to a team called Aphelion. Many viewers certainly may be familiar. After kind of changing hands, and I know Aphelion did break up, unfortunately, one of my favorite players right here, we are witnessing Art Ryu playing as this Greedent, and here on the top lane, she is obviously joining Cinderella, Asianable, Yeet Fan, Rex. They are now making up this new Tyre, and they're going up against IX Gaming today, ladies and gentlemen, for this open qualifier. We are underway, already about 30 seconds in. I do just want to ask for a little bit of forgiveness, and then we'll move right past this, but my 4-year-old son was actually sick earlier on in the week. Seems to have passed just some stuff along to me, so I know my voice is going to be a little bit strained. Any viewers at home who watch this regularly, you know what I sound like, but if you're new, just imagine a slightly better quality here. But we are actually noticing a mad tear from Cinderella, playing as that Zeraora. Very nice, actually, series of KOs right here on that bottom lane. Gonna lead to, of course, a score of 21. This is very good for early on, and we actually have the teams neck and neck right now by score. A lot of things can happen, you know, so this is obviously just early game, just a kind of a call out of that. Art Ryu will now go back for this farm that was left in the early part of the game. Gonna become Greedent. This is where kind of the magic happens, right? Now with that Covet. Key strategy for Art Ryu, definitely. So once you have Covet, you know, Art Ryu is just gonna go, I would say, full throttle with this strategy. Usually she's just kind of score rapidly, steal the other team's farm. That actually might be what she's gonna do right now. And no point values are really too small in this kind of strategy. And we'll have to see if IX Gaming can, of course, respond to that pretty well. We'll be kind of keeping an eye on the mini-map for where we should go. We are seeing right now Cinderella with IXOG. It's going to be Zeraora on Lucario right now. A little bit tough, a little bit difficult. Cinderella actually going to back off right here, and Art Ryu going to meet up there on the top lane. And so we're obviously looking for objectives and things right now. It's just a lot of wild Pokemon at this stage of the match. Really neck and neck. I mean, look at this. We're even seeing like exactly even on the score like a lot of the time right now. So I'm hoping that that kind of stays actually through most of the match. Look, it's just as we keep on going, what that typically means, of course, is that these teams are actually evenly hitting each of the farm, because, you know, if you imagine like a Lucario, okay, it's going to take out an Apom here, but also Art Ryu as the Greedent will take out the Apom on the other side, and then they're each going to score that in. Those are the same point values, and so it just so happens that nobody else has scored in any exorbitant way. Now we are seeing, of course, 77 for IX Gaming at the moment. Still early, still got to look, of course, to the Bs coming up at 720. Combi and Vespiquen, obviously a good source of points, a good source of XP, everything. So it's usually what teams are going to be looking at coming up next. Nice big 30 right here from Zeraora. That's Cinderella over for Tyre. So we're just mere seconds away, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see how everybody responds to that, because that'll be kind of a big burst of a battle right here on the bottom lane. Just decided to follow Rex, the Wigglytuff, here on camera, and wouldn't you know it, by the time they even get over here, those bees are gone, and look at this, now Rex is gone, unfortunately. So that was just a massive opportunity for IX Gaming, and they took it. Seized the moment perfectly, I would say, because Rex was a little bit behind. It's like after coming in, everybody else was already pulling back to retreat, and Rex was right there caught up in a late retreat. And so now we have Dreadnought on the map, and that actually was bursted down very quickly, but Art Ryu will take that steal, because it was really looking like IX Gaming was going to take that, and then Art Ryu sweeping in like a legend. I know she's capable of this, so very good job. We're going to see a 59 on this bottom lane to break it, and they will be able to. It's just who's going to break it and where. That was probably good. You know, you see like these 11 points, for instance, on AZN. You want to break that with the higher points, ladies and gents, but this is really what we came to see, right? We're about midway in the bracket. I know a lot of people can't see this. The bracket, I mean, for today's tourney at this stage, but essentially imagine us kind of midway through. You know, each of these teams have both gotten their victories on some other teams before them, like 2 each, and so about midway through, already kind of having to take on each other. I would say pretty evenly matched teams, obviously. If you didn't know them before, you'd obviously see it right here with the scores and everything, but now we do see that Tyre, after that momentum, getting that Dreadnought, a lot of points here and there, all around that. It's put them in a good spot right now. Never be too comfortable with this kind of lead right now, obviously, and you do have your top goal right now, of course, with just 3 points to break, so that could be happening at any moment. You're not going to defend against a 3 if someone goes to try to score that, typically. Bees are going down now. That Combi and Vespiquen will fall, and we're going to see a big skirmish. That team fight will result actually in a KO on both sides. Rex is down, as well as IX's Talonflame. Please forgive me, I can really hear it in my voice. I can really feel it, I should say. A lot of the bottom register taken out of my voice today. Just a lot of scratchiness. This is bad. There's a lot of Worlds games that I want to cast here. Rotom gonna go ahead and hit a few warning shots, we can call it, against Art Ryu right now. Getting a little bit too close for comfort, am I right? But stay on target, of course, and Art Ryu's target could be IX Gaming, although we are seeing her covet back on in. Was in the tall grass, and now just maybe waiting to see if they're gonna initiate this. Are they gonna stick around? Because if not, then Art Ryu, of course, has a free Rotom, free reign to hit it. But if so, she obviously needs to be here, need to take that into account. A little bit of a predicament, and we can obviously see as spectators, Lucario and Eldegoss, that's for IX Gaming, they are nearby. And look at this, Art Ryu gonna pull off the berry belly flop, then go for the goal. So actually knowing she can break it, of course, not only just because it took 12 and she had 34, but with that berry belly flop, with any, if you have a score shield, if you have a buddy barrier, anything like that, as a greetant, that is going to last you throughout. And so look at this, Dreadnought will go down once again. This time it's gonna go for IX Gaming, ladies and gentlemen. So that's very good. They were actually still pretty even with the levels. It's just that's gonna give them the boost to really keep up as Art Ryu chips away at this thing, just about to take it down. So Rotom will now go for purple. That is Tire. And so we'll just have to see if that puts the pressure on that they need to get even further ahead. But you notice, it's 200 points exactly right now is their lead. That's definitely more comfortable, especially if you're in a Worlds qualifier like this. Even if it is just the Open, you want to know. You want to know, like, hey, we are ahead. We are doing good, but never rest on it. And these are both good teams, so anything really still can happen. Let's just, of course, see what transpires as we are now getting into that late game. Final stretch will be coming up in just about 2 minutes. We're going to see Art Ryu stake out a spot right here in the tall grass. A lot of spectating on Art Ryu, which I know, one of my favorite players, so I know that there's a little bit of caster's bias, but it's also her coverage of the map, so we can see actually a lot with what's going on with Art Ryu, and she certainly has been one of the top scorers, top people making activity here in this game. Been a good game, but we do see just with Tyre now pulling up the score, IX Gaming is really going to have to hope for something. It could be in the final stretch that they close the gap really quickly, because obviously a score of 200, it seems a little bit more right now. When you're in the final stretch, it's not going to seem like as much. You can get those 250s and they'll be hundos, and you're already tied at that point. The idea, of course, is just to get a little bit more. So let's watch it unfold. I mean, we have this sort of ambiguous time right now in the match where if there isn't really a competing priority, if you're in this kind of 3 minute, maybe a little bit over 2 minutes, in that time frame is where you typically just look to farm. Maybe you can back cap, like if you have the capabilities, but sometimes it is better to wait for the final stretch if you're in that 2 minute time frame, and it's good to wait for that. So it's all just about adapting to what the match needs, of course. And in this case, most of them seem to just farm, and you can obviously see everybody's kind of doing that dance, right? We see this a lot of the times when you're just waiting for like an objective to show up, a wild spawn. Maybe it's this Dreadnought, and both teams were actually sort of doing that dance, so it was a little bit funny to see. We do now have the Dread in the stadium. We'll see who can make something happen. Both teams are pretty much vying for it, with Art Ryu kind of being the outlier right now up on that top lane. And that Dread is now 75% down, but actually more than that. And look at this, coming in clutch, that's going to be Tyre. So good job to Cinderella, having the discharge, having really everything was in order. It's just for both teams, right? So you didn't know who was going to get that exactly, with both teams vying for it of proper skill. But, obviously Tyre down Art Ryu. So they did essentially have a disadvantage if you think about that by the numbers. And so she is going to take down this Rotom. We actually a little bit close right here. We got only 2 seconds left. 1 second. She will not. That's actually going to be kind of devastating. I know Art Ryu would have loved to have that, especially when you have a Zapdos. Look at what Tyre's doing. They actually, seemingly, I would say, you're going to notice that IX Gaming bursted that Zapdos really quickly, but the idea was that Tyre actually employing a strategy to go straight for the goals and leave the Zapdos. So really, it just intentionally, I would say, not going for that Zap, but look at how that really did give IX Gaming a chance to close the gap to a certain degree, but it's still going to be 603 to 477, so we just have to see who's going to score this. Yes, that will be another hundo. So those 100s are all being dropped in, but I think that was every single one of their team members dropping in 100s or that 70 right here, and 62 to follow. Oh no, so that 62 just came in, and so look at this, ladies and gentlemen, just barely. That would be the problem. That would be the flaw, I would say, because like you've got to commend Tyre for sort of an unconventional approach to that Zap. That was really interesting. It's just the unfortunate part of that is the obvious, right? Is that they are behind. It's just they don't need that much. I don't know if Art Ryu really should be doing this. She obviously doesn't know what the score is for her team exactly, and they are now actually going to get the attention. It's a close battle, just like we're seeing right there. there, that's what they're gonna see. And so it literally is a close battle because we only have 6 points between these two teams. And if you're Tyre and you're behind like this, you do have enough time to obviously get in something, but you don't really need to focus on it being big, right? She has 38, and that's why I was saying again, she doesn't really need to get a whole lot of points. I mean, it's obviously great if she does, and she was going for the berry belly flop and then gonna be disabled, so that was a perfect, absolutely clutch slow beam. That was like the most wonderful time you could have put that on and activated the slow beam. That was from Elky J. So wonderful job, IX Gaming, man. Elky J really might have just saved them right there because Art Ryu probably could have coveted over to that last goal and scored in that 38 or whatever she had at that moment of being KO'd, and that would have been all point values doubled, and it really doesn't look like any of the other Tyre members, 2 of them being down, but none of them are even vying for a goal right now, so they aren't even attempting it, and that's really not good because they actually may think that they're okay. And then notice this is going to be an 8 points from Talonflame for IX Gaming, so that's just, again, this is so not good if you are Tyre. I believe that means that they got the loss. Let's go ahead and see the score breakdown. My friends, this is going to be painful to watch to some degree, but as spectators, we like that. We are going to see a 603 to 619 in favor of IX Gaming, who are going to actually come from behind. Look at how much Tyre did remain ahead in that mid-game, and that zap play actually might have cost them because not only did IX score enough at that point to really catch up, but then they just needed a few more after that, and so, again, that's got to be really devastating if you are Tyre. Ladies and gentlemen, these are double elimination. You do need to win twice. Maybe we'll go ahead and cast the next one, see who wins, IX Gaming or Tyre. Feel free to click an end screen on screen to see more, and thanks for viewing.